Welcome to Talking with Colerain Township on Waycross Community Media. I'm Government Programming Coordinator Dana Gagnon, and today we're going to take a few minutes to meet the newest face at the Colerain Township Administrative Building. This is Tiphanie Mays.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Now, I have you here because now, not only has the Assistant Administrator position been filled, it's been filled twice. Not by accident, but on purpose. There's a new structuring to make sure that the township can best serve residents, and now there are two.
Yes.
And one of those is someone that we recognize around the township. That's Jeff McElravy, and we'll talk to him more about that later. But one of them is your brand new face to the township, so I wanted to make sure residents got to meet you.
Perfect.
So let me ask you, what made you decide to come to Colerain Township?
Sure. So I've been in the Cincinnati area now for about 22 years, and eventually I knew I wanted to get into municipal administration. I started that venture about 10 years ago, and we'll get into my background a little bit on that later. So when I knew I would eventually get into administration, it had to be the right community for me, one that had values and ethics. And when this opportunity arose, I actually have connections to Colerain. And to put it simply, they said, you'd be perfect for Colerain. And so I said, okay, I have to go for it. So put my name in the hat, and everything fit into place the way I think it should have been. So I'm very happy.
Well, then tell me a little bit more about your background. What kind of experiences do you bring with you to the township?
Sure. I would say most of my experiences with project coordination, leadership, team leadership, and a lot of my experience also recently has been in grant writing, and that's where the portion I'll be overseeing is that operations and engagement. So previous to this position, I was working for the city of Blue Ash for 17 years in the Parks and Recreation Department. So if you're familiar with them at all, eventually I worked my way through from being in charge of the lifeguards to, at the very end, I was the superintendent of all of our events and the construction of a couple capital projects, including Summit Park. I was on a team. There was a big team of us that was part of all the construction that happened there. So that's where you get the engagement from. Oversaw all the events and project management. And then after being there for 17 years, there was an opportunity to go to the city of Fairfield to be their next Parks and Recreation director. Great opportunity. The leadership there is wonderful. The team at the Parks and Recreation Department is very dedicated and talented, and I was very fortunate to work with those fine people for a little over 4 years. So really got to delve into that administration side a little bit more as a department head. And, you know, you never can look into a crystal ball and know what's going on, but then this opportunity came about, and so that's kind of my little road to Colerain, and that's why the operations and engagement is what I'll be overseeing.
So you come with a whole lot of experience of working in municipalities. That's really neat to hear. I'm glad that we're able to bring that to the residents and let them know.
Sure. Well, what's interesting, if I can, I've always had that servant heart, which is, when I was younger, I always wanted to help with the little kids soccer programs. So one of my friends said, why don't you come over to the Parks and Recreation Department and help coach the little kids and help ref. And I was like, yeah, I would love that. So like from being a summer camp kid and, you know, being a leader and a soccer coach and referee, and then I was a lifeguard myself. So I've always wanted to, I didn't know what that was until obviously I was in college, and it's like, oh, that's what that is. I want to serve the community. So ever since I was 15, 16, you know, I wanted to serve the community.
It does feel different going to a job when the job is for something bigger than your own paycheck. Yes. Although that is a valid reason to go to a job, but there's an extra level of excitement, I think, when you get to do things for the community.
Absolutely.
So now that you're in the township, what are you looking forward to most? I know you just started. We just saw you sworn in or approved. You were just
Yeah.
approved at the last township meeting. What are you looking forward to so far?
So far, I made a joke yesterday that I've hit double digits now. I think yesterday was my day 10 or something. I can't remember,
Okay.
but I'm looking forward, honestly, to get to know the staff and the residents better. So far, it's a lot of information overload right now, but I know eventually once I get my bearings, I'll be able to get out there. And I firmly believe in being a fabric of the community. So I'd love to, what I'm looking forward to most is volunteering, maybe for the YMCA or, my supervisor, Jeff Weckback, he and I have talked about getting involved with the chamber or something like that. I really firmly believe that that's a good way to give back to the community as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Tell me something that surprises you about Colerain Township the more you learn about it.
Sure, that's a great question. So when I first came to Colerain Township, I had friends that lived closer to the river on the west side of the township. And I was actually surprised that the mixture of where they lived, and then you can come into the more active part of Colerain, and it's all connected together. And the diversity of being able to shop at some really good stores, and heck, there's even like a Red Lobster and an Outback. Like, that's great. The diversity in this township is very impressive.
It really is. As one of the biggest townships, there's rural areas, there's vineyards, there's farms,
Yes.
but then also there's shopping centers and restaurants and suburbs. It's kind of, is Colerain rural, or is it urban, or is it suburban? And the answer is just yes. Yes, it
It's
is all these
amazing.
things.
Yes, it is
Which is a
amazing.
great thing from your perspective, because communications-wise, development-wise, getting to let other business owners know about it, there is everything in Colerain Township.
It is. It's very, very diverse. If you want to live out in 20 acres, there's an opportunity for that here. If you want just a half acre to start your own mom and pop business, there's that opportunity here too. So it's a really neat setup. Our forefathers were really thinking ahead of time.
Yeah, back to 1794.
94.
Okay, all right. Now, I mentioned that there are 2 assistant administrators, but you each have your own niche of responsibilities.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about what your niche is and what residents can ask you about when they have questions?
Absolutely. Jeff, it will be more on the financial aspect, making sure we're staying in compliance with federal guidelines. I'm more on the operations every day, what you see out there every day in the parks, in the streets maintenance, and the engagement process. So all of our events, if you have an issue with Rumpke, with the trash, I'm the one who you'll call for that. And just all the things that make us operate and flow smoothly and to serve the residents. So that's the niche that I'll be overseeing.
And what's the best way for residents to contact you?
Sure, anyway, is email. I think my information is on the website, the township's website now. I'd have to double check that, but you can always call me. You can stop by. I love visitors, so I say I have an open door for my staff as well as the residents, because I'm also serving them. So,
Do you have any particular goals that you hope to achieve as you're moving forward?
I'm at the point of my career. This was my ultimate goal. So this is my last bus stop or train ride, maybe. How do I say that?
Whatever mode of transportation.
Yeah,
flights,
yep. This is
roller
I
skate.
love it here. I love the leadership team, and I know I've been here just briefly already, but
Right.
being in the form of administration for government, very quickly I was able to pick up on the leadership, and I'm very happy to be a part of that team. It's impressive. It's hard to find a government team that's serving our community, that's engaged with each other and really supports one another, and that's what this team is. And that's that's how I'm finishing my last train ride.
Yeah, any kind of steamboat. We
Yeah,
could just
steamboat.
keep going.
Yeah.
Cruise. We could go with cruise.
Oh, I like that.
Let's do
Let's do the cruise. I like
But
it.
if you're following this whole thread, the whole idea, I think, is that you're not climbing. This is
is
your
it.
spot.
Yep.
This was where you were aiming to go.
This is where I'm meant to be. And as long as everyone will have me, I plan on staying here.
Is there anything else you really want the residents to know about you?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I love being involved. I love to, I know that I served Blue Ash for so long, it came to the point where if I had a late meeting, I'd stop at Kroger and get some dinner or, get something for the microwave for the office. And I'd have a summer camp mom bump into me that I haven't seen in 5 years because I had been moved from summer camp to concerts. And so they'd be like, oh my gosh, we miss you. And it's like, that's what I love about serving a community for so long, because you get that familiarity with the residents. And that's what I really love about serving. So I can't wait to get to that point with the residents. So.
Well, I
That's what I'm
really
looking forward to.
appreciate you coming in. I think this will be the first step of having them start to recognize you, and hopefully it will help them feel more comfortable to come up and introduce themselves and make
Please,
connections.
yes, I'd love it.
And thank you for watching Talking with Colerain Township. That means you are staying up to date on what's happening in your township, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.